Okay, so now we're going to go and insert the table that's in the introduction. So I'm going to show you how to do that in Overleaf. So let's just go back to the example text document now first. And this is the introduction here, and this is the table that we want to insert. So let's just first look at this. We have 2 columns, and we do have a title here, but we may just use the caption instead. We don't need to do that. So we'll start out just with the 2 columns. And how many rows do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. So 10 rows and 2 columns. So let's now go back to LaTeX and go to the introduction file here. And I'm also going to put just an enter here. Just going to move that down. And then let's start our table somewhere around here. And the environment that's used for creating tables is the tabular environment. So I'm going to show you the LaTeX markup to do that. So you can just follow along with me as we do this. So first I'm just going to show you how to build the table part, and then we're going to insert how to make a caption as well. So start by typing \begin. And then center, because we want to make sure the table is going to be centered, so we're going to start with that. And then type begin again. And then type tabular. And it will probably come up with a suggestion, so you can then just select that right now. And it already kind of starts off the table for you with how it's written. These C's here represent that the columns are going to be centered. So it shows you exactly how many columns you have and that they'll be centered. If we wanted them to be left or right aligned, we can use L or R. And this vertical line represents the borders. So you're going to actually put in vertical lines for the borders, and then you're going to use another command called hline for the horizontal. So you're basically building the table and determining where your borders are going to be. So I'm going to put a vertical line there as well, and here. So each column has lines, vertical lines on the left and right. And we only need 2 columns, so we just need the C and C like that. And then on the next line, so I'm just going to hit enter here. I'm going to type /hline. And it also suggests that as well for you, so you can just start typing it and then select it. This is going to give me a horizontal line so that the top will also have a horizontal line on it. And then you're going to start typing out everything that's in your cells. So we only have 2 columns, so we're just going to have 2 cells per line, and we know we have 10 rows. Before we do that though, I just want to show you what this is going to look like. So let's just do a little example by just calling them cell 1, cell 2, just to show you the format of it, and then we'll go back and fill it in. So you start with cell 1, and then they always have this ampersand here, so cell 1 and then and cell 2. And then these 2 backslashes, these represent going to a new line, so it means that now the next one is going to be a new line. So you're going to have separate rows here, so that's what specifies that. And now we go down here, we're going to put cell 3, and cell 4. And something else I want to do, and then also the 2 backslashes. I want to add a horizontal line in between here. You can add as many horizontal lines as you need. So you have to kind of picture this in your head. Like that. And then after this one, I want another horizontal line. So let's just go review that. So we have the tabular environment with 2 columns with 3 vertical lines there. Then we have a horizontal line at the top, 2 cells, horizontal line, 2 cells, horizontal line. So let's see what this is going to look like. So now go over here to the preview, and here's our little table that we just created. But this is not what we want. This is just to show you how this actually works. Let's now go back and fill in with the actual content, and we're going to expand this. And so every time we have this 2 cells, we're going to have a horizontal line after it, just so we get all the borders that we want on the table. So I'm just going back here so we can see what the first one is going to be. So mass in kilograms. So we can just copy paste for some of it. There's also some math. We're going to have to input a superscript here for this, for the scientific notation, and also we have the degrees Celsius down here. So we'll get to that as we go along. So this first cell, mass in kilograms, and then we have this right here that we're going to put in and use the dollar signs to specify the math that we want. Dollar sign 1.989, and then this times is slash times, and then 10 caret 30. And then the dollar sign again. So what I missed here is that I need to put this in curly brackets here, so that it knows that it's 30, not just the 3, that's the superscript. Let's just compile that and make sure that worked. And there we go. So now we're showing 1.89 times 10 to the 30, and the mass kilograms. So let's go input the rest of these, and then we'll see what it looks like, and maybe we'll do a bit more formatting if we need to. Okay, I just made my screen so that I could copy more easily, so that this is on one side and the overleaf documents on the other. So now we're just going to copy this, the mass, and now we have to add some more lines here. So I'm just going to copy paste this. We'll just overwrite it. And just copy paste the H line. So now we're going to overwrite this one. And I'm just going to copy this down a few more times just so we don't have to keep redoing it. Okay, and then I'll just copy the H line down. And then I will overwrite what we need to do. Okay, so now we'll continue on and put in the equatorial radius in Earths. Okay, and then the Next one is the mean density. And there is a bit of math here we have to do for that superscript. So I'll just put in the dollar signs and the caret. And the mean density is this. And then rotational period. And then we have escape velocity. And then magnitude. Now, if you don't want to do all of this, I mean, it's just an example to show you. You don't have to, or if you want to put in your own type of table or create your own document and follow along with me, that's fine as well. I just feel that people learn best when they are producing a final product. That's the way I've always learned best. If I just read something or just watch some videos of someone else doing something, it doesn't really help me. So that's why I've producing courses like this, and they take some time because you have to do everything from scratch on the video, but I enjoy doing it, and I hope that everyone is getting some things out of these types of courses. So now this one we have to put in the degrees Celsius symbol. So again, dollar signs, and then put the caret, so shift 6, backslash circ, dollar sign, delete out that. Okay, and then the last one here. All right, so that's all the statistics that we have for this table. So let's now expand this, and we'll compile it and just see if it looks okay. Okay, so there's the table. Now I'm gonna tweak this a little bit, I think. Okay, so what I want to do is we first specify the cells as being centered. That's what the C represented for each of the contents in the columns. And that's when we did our example with just the cell 1, cell 2, 3, and 4. But when you look at this table when everything is centered, I don't really like the look of that. I want to left align everything. So I'm just going to change these here to L. So that we can left align everything. There, so now you can see in the table here, everything's left aligned instead of centered. You can also use R if you want it to be right aligned. Also, I'd like to add a little title here. So to do that, we're going to have to combine the two columns here to form one big cell at the top. So to do that, we use a command called multi-column. So I'm going to insert that now, and you can follow along of how to do it. So we'll have begin tabular, and then a horizontal line, and then multi-column. And then I'm going to specify how many columns we're going to combine. We're going to combine 2, so we put 2 in curly brackets. And then the next thing you need to specify is whether or not the contents of this big cell is going to be centered, left aligned, or right aligned. And we want it centered for this because it's like the title of our table. So I'd put 2 vertical lines with a C in the middle. And then on the next line, you're going to put in curly brackets the name or what the contents of this big cell is going to be. So we're going to call it statistics about our son, which was what was in the example document, but you can call it what you'd like. And then at the end of this, we're going to put 2 backslashes because we want to make a new line. And then we'll add H line as well, horizontal line. Okay, so that should do it if I did everything correctly. So let's just recompile that. There, so now we have this title at the top, right here. But it doesn't really stand out, so I'm going to bold that. So if you remember from what we said before, you can just highlight, hit Control B, and now I'll recompile it. So now it bolded it, but I think I might want some color as well. So to add some color just to this title, we're going to, right after this here, we're going to change the color of this row. But before that, we need to go back to the main.tex file and add in another package. So we're going to insert the use package table X color. Okay, so now that we have that package there, we can go back to the introduction here. Okay, so now let's go insert the row color. So we're just going to use the row color command. And I'm going to use yellow, I think, for the sun. But you can use whatever you'd like. And then after we compile it, you can see it changed the background color of the title to yellow. So now we have our table created, and you notice how LaTeX was able to position the table right exactly where we wanted it under the introduction. But it doesn't always work that way with floating images and tables and content like that. So there is a way to help to specify the position that you'd like your table or image. We're going to talk about that in the next video. I'm going to show you how to make sure this is positioned where you want, and also to add a caption to the table. And then after that, we'll get into inserting images.